Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Today is giving a lot of happy and a lot of thanks. At least that's what I'm receiving. Feeling very grateful, very thankful. I was talking with a buddy of mine for quite a while on the phone today about gratitude and the deeper meaning and the way to see it in every little thing. And so I just thought I'd get on here and take a moment to tell you guys some of the things I'm grateful for. Back in 2015, 10 years ago, in January-ish, beginning of the year, I went through a divorce from the mother of my children, and then soon after that, I was involved in a pretty bad motorcycle accident where I died a little bit, and then I got over it. I'm back, better than ever, and I feel like I'm so grateful for the divorce and the accident and all the trials that were involved with that. I'm so grateful for my family and how they've helped me through it, obviously. But I'm more grateful for the way I chose to rise out of it and what I chose to derive from it. Because people can coddle me and baby me and protect me, but what I really wanted was to grow. It's what my soul really wants in all cases. And when you have occurrences like that that are pretty potent in your life, it gives you a jump start, extra boost in my own personal development. In the middle of a soccer field with some soccer players. Nice. I'm grateful for having been raised to think for myself and to challenge the narratives that are fed to me by seeking inside and seeing what I truly feel and believe instead of just taking everything at face value. I'm grateful for having been raised in a religion that restricted me and made me feel both holy and divine and able to see a bigger picture and believe in my ability to even ascend to godhood. But at the same time, that restricted me in ways that caused me to seek deep what truly matters and what I truly feel and what I truly want out of my experience of this life and how I want to see the beauty and diversity in everything else. It wasn't just the religion, but the religion helped me see that there was kind of a bubble society that really put focus in one direction and got really good at it. Really good at raising families and caring about service and kindness and love and common grounds. When I was a missionary in Brazil, I learned to, instead of talking about the things that I disagree with people of other religions, I was able to focus on the things that I shared in common with them, which taught me, in the end, it grew to teach me that the outcome of that lesson grew into a deeper understanding of unity with people of all walks of life, which led to some of the wonderful experiences I've had with my Uber passengers and now everybody I come across. So I'm very grateful for having had that experience. And all of these things come out of challenges. At the time, I felt like when I disassociated myself with the church, that was a pretty big deal because that's how I was raised, and I had to re-raise myself, but at the same time, didn't want to abandon everything I had learned. From those experiences. And so I didn't just give everything up. I extracted the wisdom, knowledge, spiritual growth that I had personally collected from my religious upbringing and my distancing from it, my experience stepping into the world and trying things that I'd been restricted from, but then deciding where, if they belong in my life somewhere, and I reformed my life much more in alignment with myself, with my true calling, my mission, my hope, my desire, my interests, my love. And nobody's restricting me anymore. It was always just me holding myself to standards of restriction. And at the time I chose to follow the standards of that religion, and then later completely different standards. And now I'm constantly creating my own, which feels so much more wholesome and in alignment with myself, because I was the author. And an empowered author is what I feel like I'm becoming now as I'm taking my power back, like I said in other videos. But I wanted to specifically touch on how grateful I am for the chaos that gets overlooked. Chaos is the other side to order, but another critical, necessary side. Not a good one that we want to support and build even bigger, but one that we want to see as a mirror that can reflect to us the weak spots that we have in trying to build a more divine world for ourselves, because it's mostly just an internal world. Because I see the people in the world that I'm around. Sometimes they're caught up in their busy lives and the stresses and the media or whatever scary things are happening in the news. And I remember being there, and I see people in their divisions. I remember being there, and I couldn't have ever stepped away from any of that if I didn't feel the oppression of it or the difficulties on a visceral level. Witnessing the stories of people that are difficult, going through difficulties and really experiencing the harshness of oppressive situations or whatever, and they get into that depth, the darkness that they dig into and experience firsthand. I didn't get to experience a lot of their things firsthand, but because I was witnessing them, I was able to draw from them the lessons that they got to experience firsthand. And so I I honor the fact that these people have suffered and struggled through these things so we don't have to. I consider it a sacrifice like the Christ sacrifice. Suffering for our sins, meaning each person can do their part in suffering, allowing their suffering that they go through to go to good use by deriving a message out of it and then passing that message on to those that haven't gone through that so we don't have to. So hopefully we can avoid the struggles. So I'm really grateful for everyone that's struggling out there, that everyone that's ever struggled or suffered and that has found the courage within to pull a positive lesson out of it. And even if you haven't yet, you will. You will. Everything works out for the overall beauty of the masterful masterpiece that we're building together in this world, in this society. Doesn't look like too much from this close, but if we can step back and see how everyone's individual beautiful brush strokes, like Bob Ross brush strokes, every little happy tree, everything that's gone together to make us grow in ways that the difficulties pushed us into that we wouldn't have done without them. And because we are a collective of individuals suffering through our own struggles, we each have something to offer to the collective. And because of that, we are much, much more powerful and more accelerated in our learning process and growth through these lessons. And obviously, if we're divided as a people, we don't learn as much. And that's what the world has had us in for the last couple of decades, but we're starting to come together and see we're not going to put up with that anymore. Between the internet and a global culture where we can all communicate through translation devices and everything, there's no reason any culture can't learn from another culture. And so collectively we bring all our hints and tips and tricks together and figure out the rules to this game and how to play it together as co-op instead of PvP, if you know what I mean. Instead of working against each other and competing. It's a true level of unity that can't be formed by just governmental unifying efforts. That's one piece in the picture, but the unity has to come from within, from seeing other people as yourself, seeing the heart of humanity by having experienced it firsthand. I feel like the only reason that I feel so freed, liberated with the awareness and understanding that I have, which is fractional compared to what there is out there. I learned more, that there's so much more to learn. But I'm so excited and invigorated to learn it because now I know the method, and that's by witnessing other people in there and validating the struggle that they went through to learn the lessons they've learned and learning from those myself so I don't have to duplicate them. And I will continue to, as long as I live now that I know. I'm grateful for every struggle that I've had in my life and everyone else is going through. So much that I've already internalized the concept so much that I've stopped paying attention to the individual details. I see struggles out there and I just bless them and move forward. When I go through any, I bless and release. That's all we can do. If we hold on to them, it spreads, it festers. The more we think about them or focus on them, the more that they duplicate and grow. And if we get into our negative space and want that connection with somebody else, so we reach out to get validation on our frustrations and negativity, we'll get it, but it'll just duplicate and spread because we're spreading it to them. But instead, if we can take the difficulties that we want to learn from and go to somebody and say, I know that you have the ability to see good in things. Help me see the good in this. Help me see how I can grow forward from this difficulty I'm going through, instead of tell me I'm right in being upset about this. Tell me I'm right that I dislike this person or that I'm victimized by something. I had a fascinating epiphany of the value of dark, the dark workers, people that seem to be serving the dark side. When you think about light and dark, in Hollywood it's depicted as enemies. What I'm coming to find is, in reality, it's two important sides of the same coin. No, we don't want to validate the negative, because the goal is to shift our world towards the positive through growth and learning. So I don't validate what they do, but I understand the deep, valuable reason that stuff like that has to happen in this dualistic and frail-minded world that we live in. We're all lost here, trying to figure our way through. And it's obvious some people are going to test the fringe limits of how to run things, and sometimes making big old mistakes. And we all can learn from them. And we should. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just fight against them and don't understand, by incorporating truly why they needed to go through that experience and how we can use it as a tool for our growth, instead of something proving to us that our world is corrupt and terrible and hit in. You know, I value the corruption and crime and all that stuff in the purpose it can serve when we put it to good use. Obviously, if we don't, it's only yucky. Nobody likes it. I love this park. You can tell I keep circling around it. Ooh. Anyway, I want to go more into the dark versus the light, maybe in my next video, because I had some real deep concepts that hit me this morning or yesterday, and again this morning with my friend we were talking about some of that, and it's really wild how much can be hidden from us in plain sight if we focus too much on other areas and not seeing the true value for every aspect of our life. Everything that we come across serves such a beautiful purpose, and I'm getting out here making videos just to share my thoughts and feelings. A few people here and there might watch my videos, and if somebody has something to draw from it and bless their life, that's all I'm hoping for, even if it's one person, because right now that one person is me. Getting out here has been the most growing experience, to finally open my heart and share what I've always been growing to feel inside. And I really am grateful for you for being here with me in this journey. It's just the beginning of my journey, so I have no idea where it's going to go. I saw that Mr. Beast video where he I think it was like 10 years ago, he made some goals for his YouTube channel, and obviously he's surpassed that. But I love the concept of, why not set your eyes on something and do it. And so I don't have a specific numbers goal for my channel or anything, because for me it's more of, I want to experience the process of putting myself out there, opening my voice to anyone that has value for it, and see what happens. I love you all. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for you and for our world. Obviously, I'm thankful for a lot more than I talked about today, but I have so many things that are obviously something I'd be thankful for in my life. And everyone can talk about that, friends, family, support, all the wonderful, beautiful experiences in life. The whole reason I focused more on the negatives is because the most healing thing I found is to be able to be thankful for the things that aren't easy to be grateful for. So, for whatever that's worth. I wasn't able to include them in the video, I don't think, until afterwards, and sometimes it just doesn't feel appropriate yet. I'll have to learn how to integrate them, but at the park I was able to make a few fun connections with a couple and their dog, and a guy flying his drone and with the motorcycle, and sat and talked, great little conversations. I love people. Shout out to y'all.